The following program is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. For as low as $1 a month, you can get episodes of Journey of Wrestling a week early and more. You too would become cool, just like Kenny Holbrook, Destrucity KTL, Drake Starstorm, DG, Passion Killer 711. Who am I forgetting again? Thomas Austin Jr. and our Trash Elite, a guy from Ohio, and Rob.
We're here now.
Yes. Greetings and salutations. I, Eric J. Chucky, has joined as always as the boy as.
Fun fact, if I interrupt his starting flow at all, it completely derails him.
You found my ADHD weak point. It's only taken you nigh on 20 years, but here we are. Today we're going to be discussing Captain America: Brave New World, a film we saw in theaters in the nick of time. But before that, we skipped it on our wrestling podcast about AEW Revolution. We got to talk about what's crumping, baby.
So what is crumping?
What is crumping? You know, I'm going to go first. I got a lot to talk about.
Go for it.
I'm going to try not to waste too much of our time because I know you guys like to hear us talk about the thing on the title card. But we ain't got much to say. So, I have started a new show that I accidentally started watching at my dad's house when I paid my beloved father a visit. That is called Building Outside the Lines. It is a father and stepdaughter duo that make weird, upcycled builds, mostly for their friends on the show's dime so they can put cool episodes of TV on the air. It's really sweet, it's really inventive, it's really fun. Guy seems to have a pretty genuine heart about, you know, keeping animals safe and minimizing environmental impact and, again, upcycling whenever he can. It's got a lot of charm, and I, a person who has a really hard time watching TV, finished like a season and a half of it within a week.
High praise from him.
Yeah. It's fun. If you like any DIY kind of shows, it's really creative and nice. Also, I've been going on a personal journey to rediscover what kind of video games I like. It has not borne a lot of fruit except for crossing things off the list. That is a kind of fruit, but I can't eat it. I am so tired of playing bad games. Or games that are just fine, but are like, it's not my thing. I gotta tell you, kids. But, man, one brief aside here. Dungeons of Hinterberg is a great concept for a game. Kind of exactly what I'm looking for in terms of gameplay. Just get in, beat up some bad guys. It has platforming, but not a jump button, which is a fascinating choice. I don't know that I would have done that, but whatever. And it is one of the most uncomfortable games to look at I have ever seen. Now, like, there's Cruelty Squad, and if we're on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being most uncomfortable, absolutely, Cruelty Squad is like a solid 9, whereas this is maybe a 6. But I don't see a lot of 7s and 8s. It's well-intentioned, I'm sure. It's a very specific art style. I like, what's that test where you get the INTJ, NFP...
Myers-Briggs?
Yeah, if you go to the official Myers-Briggs test, it's basically the same art that's been there since 2008. It kind of reminds me of that. But the filters and stuff, it upsets me. It looks bad on my eyes visually. But man, it's fun. And it's been a long time at least. I may have never had a situation where I really like this game, but I hate viewing it. It's interesting.
That is an odd place to be stuck.
Yeah, because I put it down because my eyes hurt, you know. But like I had that feeling afterwards of, I should play some more Dungeons of Hinterberg. But I don't want to. My eyes hurt. What about you, my friend? What's been crumping with you?
Not much new. Marvel Rivals crumping.
Yeah.
Not as much of Outer Dragon Age because I can't decide which one I want to play, and I discovered that if I try and play both at the same time, my hands get confused by the buttons being different, and I don't do well. So I got to pick, and I haven't decided which one to pick. And I think I would pick Avowed, except that Avowed feels like a job a little. So I might end up playing Dragon Age first.
It's really confusing to me that we live in an era, and I'm trying to play on Xbox, so I know that's part of the problem. where so many games are either epic single-player masterpieces or multiplayer short form, like session games as I call them. I miss the single player session game.
Yeah, I miss being able to pick up, like, I have one, it's Elden Ring. But
for you, maybe that's a single player session game. For me, that's an exercise in getting my dick nice and flattened as it is 3 p.m.
But it's not much new going on in the world for me. A bunch of stuff that I can be doing, and it's just a matter of picking what to be doing.
It is nice to be blessed with an abundance of options.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd rather be spoiled for choice than start WWE 2K25. As of recording this, is in early access still.
Which we have access to, as we paid the money to do so.
Because they're intergender matches. I wasn't going to buy it immediately.
I heard that, and yep.
And they said that, and I was like, well, I should tell the boy, and I told the boy, and he was like, purchased.
Look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is about pro wrestling, not about what's on the card. You know what, commenter, get on that. But I think intergender competition should be the normal standard for pro wrestling. Pro wrestling's not real, guys. That actress at the most recent pay-per-view mentioned it. It's not real. It's fake. And it's just not a big deal. Like, look, it's fine. I understand in MMA that probably is not a smart call, but this is pro wrestling. It's just fine. It's not a big deal. And the fact that at least the video game is giving me this better, brighter universe, I'm going to financially incentivize them to keep doing that.
Yeah. You haven't put hands on it yet. I spent a little bit of time with it.
I just have too much I could be doing.
Yeah, I'm trying to unlock stuff and just trying to get my wheels underneath me. I've been really preoccupied by this video game quest, but it is in every way better than last year. Even just the creating entrances. One of my biggest complaints, even though they brought it back and polished it up and you can actually do it like you used to, the lighting system was kind of fucked last year. This year, it is so crisp. The previews look great. And we're playing on current gen, not previous gen, so that helps as well. But even the island, it's a little tedious and grindy. I like it a lot more than the card game stuff. Big surprise.
What? You don't like a card game?
Yeah.
Well, I never.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so far so good. I doubt we'll do a full podcast on it, but expect to hear about it in What's Crumping in future episodes.
That's about 8 minutes of crump. Let's see if we can figure out to talk about this movie.
Okay, so spoiler-free review for Captain America Brave New World.
You know what? This is actually a great spoiler-free review because we are going to break with the entire internet. Everybody disagrees with this take. Are you ready?
I thought it was really fun, really exciting. I had a great time watching it. I'm glad I caught it in the theater. The drama was good. The storyline was interesting. The characters were fun. And the action. I'm not an action movie guy. Man, there were some cool things that happened in here where evens me was like, that homie's blanking that blank. And I'm sold. I was sold.
Agreed. Just agreed. I have no nitpicks to differentiate with. This was just a good movie, you guys. This was a good Marvel movie. What are you all smoking? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
You know what? We have delegation of responsibility here, I think is now the time. You are a big proponent of explaining the film. What happens in the film, the events of the film.
I like doing that.
I am very warm, and for whatever reason, our heater just kicked on. I'm going to go turn that off. Why don't you give a brief summary? We're exiting spoiler-free review time. Take it away, my favorite robot.
So, the plot of the movie is as follows, right? I watched this a couple days ago, and so I'm going to give you my best summary. If you're coming here to the Two Nerds podcast for plot synopsis of this movie, don't do that. But since you're already here, I'll give you what I've got, right? We start off with Captain America diving in to gather a MacGuffin from Giancarlo Esposito and his crew of nefarious dudes.
The Serpent Society.
Yes, that's definitely something that is not just a name they plucked out. They do something with that, I promise, is real. But it's... he gets the MacGuffin, and he is rewarded by the now president, Thunderbolt Ross, played by Harrison Ford, because the actor who played Thunderbolt Ross died tragically. There's a comma there. He died. It is tragic. I don't believe he died in like a plane crash.
Yeah, I think he like regular died.
But so they had to recast him. They did the Marvel Cinematic Universe recast, which is where they recast. They put the recast actor on screen. They look the audience in the eye and go, "This is the recast actor," and then they move the fuck on.
I loved it. I loved the line. I'm glad they did the thing. That's one of the they did the things that I still have.
That's what you should do. You don't fucking get verklempt about it. Just recast, move on. But in the ensuing celebration, he is invited to the White House to party and take credit for helping save a big treaty that we don't know why the treaty's happening yet. In this, he brings his friend, his sidekickington. I don't remember that guy's name.
Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon.
There you go. And he brings Isaiah Bradley, who is someone from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. And from comics, he is the lost Captain America. He was Captain America during the Vietnam era, and then they threw him in prison for 30 years because they're not quite Marvel Canada, but the Marvel American government isn't much better. The Marvel American government isn't much better, and that's what we're going to say about it on this podcast. But long story short, a bunch of guys, including Isaiah Bradley, are taken up by mind control. They attack the president. Hijinks ensue from there. It's a mystery of why did Isaiah do this, what eventually is revealed to be mind control, who's doing the mind control, so on and so forth.
It's not the most complex plot. I will not say that. It's not as though there were any revelations that happened where I was like, oh my god. But we've been, spoilers for a future podcast, at the behest of one of our dear beloved patrons, we've been watching Cowboy Bebop. You rewatching, me watching for the first time. I really like Cowboy Bebop, not just because it's a seminal work of anime, but it reminds me a lot of shows I love, like Renegade, which is not a good show, but it's fun, and it's actiony, and the good guys try to do the right thing, and sometimes the bad guys do the right thing or the wrong thing in a funny way, and I like that too. And Brave New World's not that different in that sense. This is not... I'm not blown away. My heart isn't wrenched out of my chest like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, leaving me in 2 weeks of PTSD. It's fun. I had a good time.
There's like, all right, so people, it has become the du jour thing, the thing to be done, the in thing to do, to hate on Marvel movies for some fucking reason. And look, if there's a Marvel movie that's bad, I am not unwilling to call that out. Or a Marvel show that's bad. I've done it before. I am not a Marvel shill, but you people have become spoiled.
I think that's part of it. Like, it's after Endgame, I feel like everybody expected every movie that followed to either be as good as Endgame or better, and that's stupid.
Yeah, I will probably never see another cinematic experience that is the same as Endgame again in my life. I'm pretty sure I will die before I get something that is that iconic again, right? But that's not what the bar is for a good movie. That's not what the bar is for a good movie, and it's not where it should be.
The last podcast about a movie we did, I believe, was Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Which we liked.
Yes, and I think this movie was slightly better than Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Yeah, I think that's a perfectly fair thing to say. Look, this isn't a good Ant-Man. This is a solid, like, Captain America the First Avenger tier movie. It's a good movie, guys, but it's not... They don't all have to be Winter Soldier. They don't all have to be Endgame. They don't all have to be Guardians 3. They don't all have to be the best fucking movie in 5 years. That's not a fair bar to judge by.
Well, yeah, and the point I was making is that everybody's so celebratory about what a good film Sonic 3 was. And it was, but, like, they're in similar company. There's not that much different from this movie to Sonic 3.
Why is the bar so much higher for Marvel? Why does DC get to shit out whatever dumb dreck they do at last, for 7 years, and they have infinite fucking people caping for them, and Marvel puts out good movies, but it's fun to hate them now. Is it just because you're teenagers and this was popular when you were kids and thus it's lame now? Is that really all it is?
Well, and it's the premise of Two Nerds Don't Go to the Movies. People are experiencing some level of Marvel movie fatigue. Whether that level is manufactured by themselves or their peer group or some sort of cultural zeitgeist, that's not really the point of the debate. They are. Or whether it's a genuine fatigue. I mean, it's a good thing that we had a dearth of Marvel movies for a while. I was really ready for this.
Yeah, it was just fun.
But like if the train had kept on rolling, I could see myself being tired. I'm a little still exhausted by Marvel series. I like them, except for Echo. But
Echo was bad.
Yes.
Echo was really genuinely quite bad.
But if they'd kept the pedal to the metal on that, I would be not doing so hot right now, facing down, having to watch for the first time season 3 of Daredevil, so I could watch Daredevil Born Again.
The series are much bigger meals.
They are at that as well. This was 2 hours, I think, maybe not quite, maybe a little over, of simple plot, good action, good character motivation, good acting. There were a couple of line reads from Anthony Mackie that were a little flat-ish, and I thought the denouement, have recently learned I used that term correctly, was underwhelming. But otherwise, solid film.
Yeah, I liked it. I love Anthony Mackie bringing. It's always felt like he is bringing a lot of himself to Sam Wilson, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier marked sort of a change moment for that, where he started to bring a lot more of the Anthony Mackie you see behind the scenes and in interviews to Sam Wilson. I like that. I like him being able to spread his wings a little more, as it were. And we get scenes like the limo scene with him and Sidekickington. I know you said it 4 seconds ago. And Isaiah Bradley.
Joaquin Torres. I tell you what, I'll highlight it on the other monitor so you can just never miss it.
There we go. It's tiny and blue.
You know what? Let's zoom in. Let's go for it. Here we go.
But him, Joaquin Torres, wow, he's doing a bit now.
I'm zooming in all the way.
Isaiah Bradley, in the limo celebrating, being on top. It's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. I'm not even joking. And then the ending scene with him and Joaquin Torres talking things out about things that happen in the movie, is great because it has that natural sort of easy charisma that you need to differentiate him from Steve. Because Steve was a very reserved guy.
Yes. Polite, cordial, but Steve was a soldier of a certain era.
He was honorable. He was forthright. He wasn't like a good Bance guy.
Right. Whereas that's a lot of what the new Captain America is bringing to the table. And I like it. I like Anthony Mackie. I like him in Twisted Metal. I'm looking forward to the next season. I like him as, I suppose, a character actor, despite how big he is. He's just sort of playing characters. The specific type of character. I liked Joaquin Torres. I was expecting for him to feel more like a Sidekickington, but he is his own person. He's got his own vibe. He's got the enthusiasm that you want to see with that kind of character, but he's not so young as he seems like a little brother. He seems like a colleague, a younger colleague, but a colleague.
He has little brother energy. I don't know that I fully agree, but it's adult little brother energy.
Okay, yeah, that might be a better way to put it. He doesn't seem like a kid.
He doesn't seem like a kid, but he does seem like a little brother.
I also enjoyed, hold on, I gotta
scroll for a long time because of his
Ruth
bitty
Bat Seraph. I don't know, I don't think I pronounced that correctly. She is Thunderbolt's head of security. Former Black Widow. I like that they're showing off other people who went through the Red Room. I like that there are other characters in the world, make it feel together. Another thing I really like about this film, spoiler alert, that was in all of the marketing, they are answering, first of all, the oldest setup in the MCU.
Yeah, they brought Stearns back, you guys!
Following up on plots in a movie I have not seen.
And he is adamant that I do not remember seeing.
Well, regardless. And they finally are doing something with the giant dead celestial in the ocean.
And that thing is adamantium.
Yeah, it's so exciting. It's so cool. It's good to see that as Marvel is picking up the pieces and going, okay, we were steering the ship in the wrong direction for a while. Let's reevaluate. This feels like a win. Narratively, this feels like they're doing the right stuff.
They're focusing on their established continuity, of which they have the most successful and most well fleshed out in movie history. They're focusing on, pulling things from the comics and then doing something new with them in a way that still feels respectful. This is what made the MCU's bones. This is what got them to the table, and they're back to it.
Yes, it feels like an early MCU film. In all ways except polish, which I think is more recent MCU, for better and for worse. Which I thought most of the graphics looked pretty good.
There were a couple scenes that were not great. But that's fine. It wasn't even like the main thing. Like, Red Hulk looks great in every scene that he's in. Sometimes the backgrounds behind Anthony Mackie look a little fake.
But I do also want to talk about, because we were paying peripheral attention when Red Hulk first showed up. And I love the way they've translated this, because they did Winter Soldier straight. They left the mystery a mystery, the original mystery that it was. But because we are a different audience now, in the last 10, 12, whatever it's been years, we have learned to appreciate superhero stories from another angle, and people have gotten into Marvel.
So the news was out.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of knew what the deal was with Thunderbolt Ross.
Right. And it's been something I've been excited to see happen since the character showed up in the greater MCU. So it wasn't the mystery that it was in the comics of Red Hulk running around causing issues. Who is he? Who could he be?
It's, what's gonna trigger Harrison Ford? What's gonna make him fucking pitch a wobbly?
The wobbliest of wobblies. And man, once they got to those action scenes, some of that shit was Godzilla level, dude. Like, a Hulk felt like a Hulk, and we haven't had a Hulk like that in a long time. And I'm not even a Hulk fan, but like, that's what you want, right? You want the motherfucker to, spoilers, destroy the White House.
Yeah, that's the thing is, this is a Captain America movie that is in some ways the sequel to the Hulk movie.
Yeah.
And that's what you got. You got a rageful, wild animal Hulk who is destructive and powerful. He's going through the standard operating MCU level tier nerfs in terms of power level, and that's good. Brings him in line with the rest of the universe. But he's got the Red Hulk heat powers. He's got, the whole kit, and he's using it, and it looks cool and awesome. And I love Hulk in the MCU. I'm not one of these people who's like finds the trades of the whole Sakaar arc and Worldbreaker Hulk from the comics and goes into their special cabinet room in their bedroom with their shrine and then makes an offering. I'm not that guy.
What's the offering?
Jism. And
I really expected you to say literally anything else for the bit. So kudos to you. You popped me.
And I think it's fine. It's a good angle for the comics. I like what they did in the MCU. I like Smart Hulk. I like where Mark Ruffalo has gone from there.
I know it was just a trip of the tongue, but I also like Smart Hulk. He knows that wrestling is fake.
Yeah. He watched the interview with that actress. Smart Hulk.
You know what I recently found out?
But
that MJF's a nice guy.
I like that. I like the change. But it was nice to see a Hulk fucking be a Hulk again.
Yeah.
It was nice to see, oh yeah, these guys are really fucking scary.
Well, and it's great too because the biggest tragedy of most of the Hulk in MCU is the collateral damage he's causing, you know? Whereas I think the tragedy with this Red Hulk is that Thunderbolt, who's trying so hard to be a better person,
like, genuinely trying to become a better man.
And Harrison Ford plays it so well with this really understated, I am maintaining soft Zen meditation voice, everything is fine, performance through the whole film. When he finally loses it, like, you can see the regret as he's turning. Not only in, you've turned me into the thing that is iconic for what ruined my life, but also, I am out of control. And I mean, you know, he loses that almost immediately because it's time to wreck shit. But it's done so well. The tragedy is in Hulk, is in Thunderbolt, not, you know, oh no, how are we the Avengers going to clean up Sokovia or whatever.
And it's a great conflict for Anthony Mackie's Captain America, who is not a super soldier.
Right.
He is a regular man in a metal can. He is an Iron Man, but shush. He has vibranium armor, so you can wave away some of the sillier things he does, which I recognize are kind of silly. Some of the stuff he does should powder his spine and legs. It's fine.
Back in the 80s, we just accepted this, so get off your high horse. It's a stupid horse to be on.
Look, it's a fair criticism, but I'm going to need you to unclench about it. But you can wave it away because he's got the power armor, he's got, you know, a vibranium suit, he's got the Wakandan technology, all that stuff. But he is a guy. It's nice to watch a guy fight a Hulk.
Yeah.
And get his ass beat.
It was just a fun, solid film, dude.
It really was. And I love, because Anthony Mackie, like Sam Wilson has been established as the guy who wants to talk the bad guy down. He's a counselor, first and foremost.
Yes, absolutely.
He's compassionate. He's empathetic. He wants to try and find a better, peaceful, righteous way forward. That's a fucking excellent thing for a Captain America to be. And this is a threat that you can't punch to sleep. You're not Tony Stark. You don't have the Hulkbuster armor. You're not Thor. You're not even Steve. You don't have the necessary power level to punch this to death. You have to find a way to talk him down, which is perfect for this particular Cap. And there were people online who I saw who were complaining that he didn't beat the Hulk, that he talked him down. And you people don't, I'm a crash out.
You are finally getting a taste of the sort of reaction I have to people who, this is not to say anything of The Last Ronin, it's a separate thing, but who really want the Ninja Turtles to just cut people up and say fuck. It's like you're missing, first of all, these are teenagers. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you? But like, secondly, that's not the vibe, dog. That's not what we're doing here.
Do you guys...
Are you that, like, pilled on, like, you know, who would win battles on the internet?
Has the power scaling cancer metastasized, I wanted to say that one right, to such an absurd degree that you people need to know who would win in a fight to the death between Sam Wilson's Captain America and Red Hulk? Okay, fine. I'll help you. It's Red Hulk. It's fucking obviously Red Hulk. You morons. That's not the emotional core of the movie. If you're mad by the end of the movie that they didn't just have a big punch up and then Captain America wins, lol, you didn't watch the fucking movie. You didn't. You can't have.
I don't know, man. I don't.
I'm like.
Or maybe they just didn't want a movie about a non-super-powered Captain America. They wanted something. They just wanted any excuse to have the big punch-up brawl. I don't know if you guys haven't seen professional wrestling, but you can just watch two people try to kill each other in a big fight regardless of the storytelling. It's on every week, like 8 times a week across 5 different feds.
There's more professional wrestling every week than you could possibly keep up with. Trust me, I know. I've tried. You can't. People complain about the MCU falling off and not being as good as they used to be, and at the same time are ruinously, religiously unwilling to let the MCU grow as a storytelling medium, to tell different kinds of stories with different kinds of conflicts. And it's baffling and very frustrating.
I don't even know how much this is growth. I think this has been at the core of Captain America as a legacy character and the Hulk as a tragic figure since the fucking 70s.
I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. You're correct. You're entirely correct. This is a perfectly fine... You'd never beat the Hulk by punching him. That's happened like in the MCU. It happens a lot because he's nerfed. But you generally don't. You generally have to find another way around it. And Captain America, in a perfect world, always gets to talk his villains down. Fucking, it's in the first movie. If all you've seen is the MCU, it's in the first movie. I don't want to kill anyone. I just don't like bullies.
Yeah. Let me invite you, if you're still listening, listener, let us know in the comments. If you didn't like this film, not so much what this film did wrong, but like philosophically, what were you looking for? What is the film you wanted to see?
Fantasy book us a better movie.
Yes, please do. And you know what? If you're right, I'll tell you you're right, because I don't have pride like that. Do you have any final thoughts about our experience with Captain America: Brave New World?
I'm really excited for what's next.
Me too.